Good evening folks, and welcome back to another 4am. Okay, so I thought I'd just do this this quick little video because I'm just unwrapping this whole building. So it's just a simple little building that I've done, and it's basically just to give this a try out. There's nothing fancy about it. It's pretty much just all it is just all squares. So I've done a smart UV unwrap, and this gave me a kind of a little bit everywhere. So basically what I've done was I've moved everything to the sides, and now I'm just rearranging everything. And I'm just doing this just to show a little, how to use the UV unwrap, and sometimes it is better to actually do it yourself. Okay, so always make sure you press this little guy down here. Keep UV and edit mesh selection in sync, because if it's off, then only the one thing that you're picking will be on. And that can be very confusing. So if you press it, that way, once you've done it, clicked on something, it's right there for you. So what I've done is this side here, the top. There's my three main squares just there. And basically because they're the biggest pieces, I've just left them just over there in the corner. Now, I'm currently just working on the front here, and I've managed to decipher all of these pieces here, as you can see. All those pieces in order of where they actually are. So when I come to put something onto this, it's going to be a lot easier. Okay, so well, where's that piece then? That's it's a bit strange. Where that piece is actually gone, is that because that's that? Ah, there's that, just over there. Okay, so I've got the door here, there. So I'm just going to bring the door straight down, and I'm just going to place it in there for now. And these are the same controls, just as up here. It's the same controls down here what you'd use. G to grab, S to scale, R to rotate, all the exact same buttons. So what I just want to do now is I just want to get all the pieces for the door all together. Not over there. Okay, and then I want to come in real close on this one, just to make sure that the whole thing is all together, so when I apply something to it, I know exactly where to go for each piece. Okay, so that's the door. Now what you want to do is, it's quite hard with this UV map down here. It's hard to configure. Okay, so that's going to be the next piece of the puzzle is there. And see, I'm just laying it out exactly as it's laid out there. And right now I'm just going to rotate them just to just 90 degrees. Now they could be upside down. I have no real way of checking, but when I apply something to it, then I'll see if it's upside down. Because if this is actually upside down, although they aren't, because you can actually see the way they're meant to be. But if this window is upside down, if there was anything to be applied to that window, it would be applied upside down. Okay, so now I've got these little fiddly bits just over here. So what I might actually do on this bit is just, not rotate, just scale that a little bit, just so I can get all of this inside, and then I can, once that's in there correctly, I can scale the whole thing together then and make it look partly right. See, that's just way too small. That. And it is quite fiddly doing this, but trust me, it's going to save you a lot of time. I see so many videos of people doing this. Always remember to keep hold of shift if you need there to be very small increments of movement, and you need to be really precise, so always use shift. So now obviously that's too small right now, but that's not a bother, because once I get our other piece over here, scale it up a little bit, scale it down again, just until you can get it all so that it matches. And you know, as I always say, you know, this is how I'm doing it. Someone else might do it a different way, but see, a lot of people also mark their seams, but it's kind of advanced really, because you've got to know where to mark the seams correctly to get the correct shape out of everything. So I just use the smart UV unwrap, and that seems to work for me. Okay, so I'll just put that in there, and then when you do it this way and you use this, these buttons change. So once you've got it selected, it's face, edge and vertice. If you unselect it, you can actually do an island. Now the only way to do it is do that, and then select it as that. Oops. It might be easier to actually do a box select over it, so make sure that you've got everything, and then we can scale it down. And you just want to leave a little bit of a gap between it, because if you're going to put some sort of a lot of textures over and around and stuff like that, then you know you need the space, don't you? Again, just try and keep everything around the same size. Okay, so now, I forgot that piece. That's why I have a little bit of a gap just above that window. See, I thought that didn't look right, but I thought, you know, just see what happens. And that's what happens. So basically, unless the whole thing matches up and it looks like a square, or you know, sort of what you're doing, then there we go. Okay, I'm happy with that there, that's fine. I've got all three pieces of around there. Okay, so next thing I need to do, grab that, and now I can see how big I need to scale this, because I'm now following this guy over here. just a little bit more, and that should be about right. Yeah, okay. And then I need to, I hate when I do that. You know, this is going to be a lot of rotating and stuff, but it's going to be so much easier when it comes to applying any textures. So I believe anyway. But if there is another way to do it, then please tell me. I've heard a lot of people who say, you know, they're good at using Blender, absolutely pants at doing this. So I hope I'm not one of those people. And if you are one of those people and you're watching this video, then I do apologise. But again, you know, this is what the videos are for. And I will be doing another video of this when I actually come to doing the tutorial of actual like UV editing and stuff like that. I just thought I'd do this one right now because I'm actually doing it, so I thought, well, why not? Whoops. There we go. Okay. Now select that. Scale that. And there's a lot of fiddling about. Okay, so now we need that extra little piece. Oh, come on, where are you? There you go. And rotate that 90 degrees, and I'm probably gonna have to rotate all of these again later. Let's say this is just basically, yeah, I just want to get everything together right now. Okay, so that's that all done there. That's the whole of the front, I think. No, okay. So then what we need to do is put that, grab that, take it down there, although I didn't want to grab all of that at the same time. And then we can put this inside here, because that's essentially where it belongs. I don't really need a big piece for that, but what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to just stick that over it, because you know, all these big pieces here, they're all going to have, well, I think they're all going to have the same texture anyway, so put them all there. It's probably going to make that a bit easier really. So apologies if I've confused anybody there. Okay, so next we have that piece. Get that over here. Rotate that 90. Okay, so we got those. So because there's not going to be a great lot of detail on this, on these big pieces, they can, or I can, should I say, I can afford to have that a bit smaller. And whilst I'm doing this as well, I'm actually going to start a new video on a new part of my channel, and I've actually just got donated to us a nice Dell Precision 690, which I'm going to make into a monster of a machine to run Blender, Maya, everything. That's going to be my new supercomputer, if you like. So that's that, and that's that. Okay. So once again, box select, move that out the way. Now just try and keep these as groups. You can join these together as groups somehow, but I don't know. So yes, apologies. Now with this part, what I need to do is need to make sure leave a bit of a gap, because that needs to go above it. And then we've got the other piece up there that needs to go above that as well. Okay, and then we have that piece over there. And then that piece over there. Okay. And I actually need moving about a little bit. A little jimmying. This is all part of the fun, and I'll let you know when that starts. It can be extremely boring doing this, and it may make you want to hate Blender. It may even make you want to hate yourself, because you've made something so complex. You're now doing this. On the other hand, if you're smart and you know where to mark all your seams, then well done you. I might even be able to, if I can rotate that. Yeah, there we go. So it's about keeping it all. No, I can't do that. So I need to rotate that minus 90. There's a big mistake there. Because if I rotate that, I now don't have enough space to put that up there. Okay, I mean this top part here, that's probably going to have a different texture than that bottom bit anyway, so if you leave a little bit of a gap there, and then if we can, I just want to make sure that I select all of those parts together there, and grab all of those over here, and then that 90. And then I want the next piece is that, next piece is that, next piece is that. That's cool. Okay, so just get that onto there. I want to make sure that they're all real close. Again, there's not going to be much detail on these, but you do want to actually, I'll put that on the bottom piece like that. So you can see they're all kind of different lengths because of this corner here, which can cause a little bit of trouble, but hey. So now, if I just, that should be that one over there. So I'll grab that and just put that just a little over the top of it. Yeah, that's fine. That should be that space there, and then that one underneath of it. That's cool. Okay, and then we need to do the same with this here. So G, move them across, rotate 90. You know, this is like really making me hate myself, but don't know why I pressed the 0 down. This is it's gonna look good when it's done, I think. And you know, this is not meant to be like a masterpiece or anything like that, but so, you know, with the shapes coming that out like that, I now know that that should, oh, I think that needs rotating 180 to make that in the right way, and then that goes there. Okay, so now and this is why it's so much easier keeping that little guy on at the bottom there. Oh, they're nicely all together. And I would say that that needs rotating 180 as well. And then if you keep that just there like that. I may end up no, you know what, I'll leave that there for now, but I think I may end up actually matching this side here onto that there, so I can get a seamless right the way across it, because at the moment it's kind of got a little gap in between, so well, actually, okay, it's a big gap on a texture that, and that may cause some problems on the overall look of that object, but nevertheless. Okay, so now I think we can rotate that 90, grab that, rotate it 90 again, and that'll happily sit there. That's there. And that'll be, I think I'll leave it there for now, because I'm sure you get the gist of that. Well, thanks very much, folks.